Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this segment brought to us by our good friends at Simsbury Bank. I'm Baldwin, and I have the pleasure of joining you on this program today to talk about a new affordable healthcare program for Chamber members. It's now available thanks to a team effort between Simsbury Bank, the Chamber Insurance Trust, and the Connecticut Chambers of Commerce. Healthcare reform, whether you're a fan or not, is changing things for all of us. And in this market, more employers are having to forego benefits due to cost or opting for defined contribution plans that now leave you, the individual, to purchase your own plan. Well, today we're talking about how HSAs are a high-quality, affordable option under the impending healthcare changes. This is exciting news for everyone in the Valley. And joining me to talk more about this are Terry Boulton, who's the Senior Vice President and Senior Marketing Manager of Simsbury Bank and Trust, and Stephen Glick, President and Administrator of the Chamber Insurance Trust. Welcome, both of you, and thank you for talking about, I guess it's good, exciting news, right?
Thanks.
New news.
New news. We like new news. Well, let's start with you, Stephen, based on that. If you could just explain to our viewers what HSAs are and what this partnership means.
Okay. HSAs are actually a custodial account from a bank or other resource primarily to fund for medical care, which also is tied to a insurance product that is qualified. The combination of these two programs allow the opportunity for a legal plan to be designed for the public. This established itself in 2004 under the Modernization Act of Healthcare. It was done because at that time, during the Clinton era, many people wanted a private solution for healthcare. And as a result of that, the HSA program has grown to over 11 million people across the country having access to a new design and very favorable direction for all.
Great. Well, Terry, and how did Simsbury Bank get involved? How did the partnership come to be, and what is the tie-in between a community bank and an insurance trust?
First of all, Simsbury Bank is very pleased to have been chosen to be the Chamber Insurance Trust HSA Bank. There are various banks that do offer this, but Simsbury Bank has started in the program about 5 or 6 years ago and has really gained a name for itself as being a fantastic provider for HSAs. Very hands-on, working with companies, with individuals to understand how the product can best suit them.
So let me ask you this, then what are the benefits for your bank customers, if you will? I mean, were customers asking for this? There's obviously, with the changing healthcare landscape, people have to focus more on this. So what's in it for the consumer, if you will?
Okay. Consumers benefit because, one, we're a local bank. We're hands-on. We help them understand how the tax situation can work for them having an HSA and what they can use it for other items. For individuals, for companies, the companies will go to the company's place of business, give presentations, seminars, so that because this is a new program for many people, they don't understand how high deductible plans help them and how to fund an HSA and how it all works together. So that hands-on touch is very beneficial. We have many companies, many insurance brokers who come to us that know that we will partner up with them, make presentations to companies to help them understand how it works for the employer and for the employee. It's hands-on. It's a low cost. There's no cost to the employer. It's free for the employee for the first 2 years. After 2 years, if they maintain a balance of $2,500, there's no monthly charge, and we have easy access to the account. They can access it through check writing, through ATM, through debit card, through online bill payment, through telephone banking. And those are services that many banks won't allow HSA customers to use.
Terry had mentioned, Stephen, that you hold seminars and you educate people on this.
Exactly.
We only have a half-hour show, but what are some of the things that perhaps people aren't aware of that would be a direct benefit, or what do they need to know about these HSAs?
First, they have to know what are the maximum contributions. $3,250, $3,250, or $6,450 for a family are the maximum.
A year?
A year. Although if you're over 55, you can add additional $1,000 for catch-up. But that's not really the issue. The issue is to design a plan is to really be a consumer and make choices that are important to you. The IRS has created a variety of different elements that are above what a traditional health plan covers. If someone needed a seeing eye dog, hearing aids, dental coverage, these are legal pre-tax benefits that can be utilized through an HSA account. The idea, though, that we're excited about working with Simsbury Bank is in this 2006, when we started selling HSAs in Connecticut, we had to use out-of-state services, which were complicated, had administrative charges, and they were not local. The agent community that we work with, working with a customer, feels more confident that a bank like Simsbury Bank, with its personal service, will be able to accommodate the needs and, of course, eliminate additional costs that were previously part of the program. So we're excited about that, and the community's excited about that.
Was there any kind of pushback or pullback, or what kind of questions are people asking? Like, it almost sounds like it's too good to be true.
Well, again, an HSA is not for everyone.
Okay.
Someone has to be able, again, to manage their own thoughts and be a consumer. If someone has a lot of children, especially, and ongoing costs, sometimes the HSA plan isn't for them. But a husband and wife or a single person who can control their costs and is educated in looking at the best solutions and shopping around for prescription drug and other things, the HSA has become important to them. But the most important element of the HSA is to stress wellness. They were first in providing, with no cost to a consumer, the ability to take care of themselves on a whole list of wellness. Mammographies, physical examinations are really zero cost on the insurance side of a plan. Now that's changing in 2014, but HSAs have been the premier, and it's proven from the carrier perspective that the rates against an HSA plan for future costs have been less than the traditional health plans out there.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that too.
Sure.
I've been offering the HSA accounts for, like I said, 5 or 6 years, and we have over about 2,000 HSA customers throughout the whole state of Connecticut. I go all the way down to Meriden, all over. And so we've talked to a lot of different individuals who have different medical situations, and even customers who have high medical cost, high prescription cost. HSAs limit their liability for their costs. So someone who might have been in a regular insurance plan in the past, who had co-pays, had out-of-pocket expense over certain dollar amounts, even the high medical users, many of them benefit from the HSAs because, first of all, their insurance premiums are typically a lot less, much less. And then their out-of-pocket is capped at a certain amount depending upon what their deductible is. So even if you're a high user of medical expenses, the HSA could very well benefit you. So just, it's not just for a couple that doesn't have many medical expenses. It does make an individual much more consumer savvy. If you take lots of prescriptions, you're going to make sure you get the lower cost prescription. But even high users many times make out with the HSAs.
The other thing about the HSA, and now it's been shown since 2006 in Connecticut, that sometimes when people put money in an account, it's not all used, and the money is carried over. And under the law, that money can be used in future years to pay for any medical expense. Some people are starting to build another additional nest egg of security. And even if they had to leave an HSA account, the banking arrangement will continue, and they can draw against that for future claims and maintain it as a security
as long as
blanket.
they're healthcare related.
That is correct.
Yeah, they can use it for other reasons, but then they're penalized by the IRS.
Right, so you have to look at what those penalties might be.
Yeah.
So this really is the consumer's own money that they're putting into this account.
Sure,
right.
sure.
Right.
But with the consumer's own money or money funded by the company,
That's right.
if they are making a contribution, then it becomes, once the money's in the consumer's account, it's the consumer's money, and they can use it for qualified reasons and not be taxed.
And we've talked a lot about what's in this for the individual consumer. What about businesses? I think everybody's kind of scrambling, really not knowing how the dust is going to settle with this whole healthcare reform thing. So what about from a business owner's perspective? I'm someone who owns a small business. Is this something that I should be looking at for my employees?
Absolutely, and I can share with you, sitting on a board with the state of Connecticut on healthcare reform, come January
I bet those are fun
1st,
meetings.
We're over 18 meetings, and they're over. But let me share with you, part of the opportunity of an HSA plan, again, is a lower cost. Younger people who have not had access to health care, now, these are over 26, have an opportunity to buy a very good plan. And under the law, under the Affordability Care Act, and Connecticut has built what's called an exchange. It's called Access Health Connecticut. Some people, based on their income, not only can buy their insurance, which is a mandate, but can gain a subsidy from the government to offset some of their premium on the insurance. And depending on their income level, it's some people are going to actually have a kick in to help them to build this. But again, the HSA's purpose is to allow a person to make independent decisions on the initial cost of their health care and have the insurance cover the big issues that they have and allow people to accumulate dollars for future years as well.
So we're in the middle of this conversation, and I want to thank you guys again for explaining this new product. But where can people go, just in case they have to bow out of this program, and I hope not? Where can they go for additional information? Is there a website or?
They can, first of all, they should talk to whoever they have their insurance through. If they're insured through their employer, they should go to their employer and ask if they have a high deductible plan available to them. And if they're not insured by their employer, then they should go to a insurance broker.
And there's a website too that has quite a bit of information.
One of the things that I represent are the local chambers of commerce across the state of Connecticut. Now, chambers do not sell product, but we have agents that represent the chamber that sell product, and we have special programs from the insurance side. The others, and they can talk to one of the brokers of a local chamber. A chamber can refer them to them. They can come on our website, and they also can call Simsbury Bank. The idea here is there is a good way of getting the right information out there.
Let me ask you this too. Who can qualify for this? This is one of the things, Simsbury Bank, do you need to be a Simsbury Bank customer in order to take advantage of this program? Mm-hmm. And you talked about too before, Terry, that you've gone beyond the boundaries of the valley. This goes beyond that. This is
all over the state,
all over the state initiative, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Anyone can take advantage of this. We certainly would like someone's full relationship, and actually customers who have become HSA customers out of our normal footprint have now started doing other banking with us because they find it easy to do mortgages and so forth. But anybody can open up an HSA as long as they have a qualified high deductible plan.
Well, I want to qualify it a little. It has to be someone under 65.
Under 65.
Okay.
To be eligible for the plan.
All right.
Again, what people need is a personal touch, especially on the banking side. It has not been that well recognized, and that's why we feel strongly of keeping things local. Even as people look at the exchange from as another resource for healthcare, the local bank should be the choice, not necessarily working with someone outside of our local community. And we've seen already the results of a personal touch that Simsbury Bank has put in. That's why the chambers are at the local community organization. We work with local Connecticut companies from the insurance side, and then secondly, a local bank. And that's what will build the strength. In our agent community, from a launch that we had a few weeks ago, with people at Simsbury Bank, stated that exact same point to us. Keeping it local will work because the service is there. The people, someone that you might have lunch with one day is the person that you're talking to about your HSA account.
Right. Well, and let me ask you this too. Are there any downsides to this? So should a consumer or somebody just say, okay, I can let my other health insurance coverage go, or can this be used in addition to an existing plan, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't have an HSA if you have another health insurance, a non-qualified high deductible plan.
Okay.
You cannot partake in both because it's a tax advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have two different. If you have a high deductible plan, you can't not also be covered under a non-high deductible plan.
And how do you weigh the benefits of the plan you might have
Well,
existing.
that's why we all hopefully maintain the relationship of an agent that helps you. There's a lot of questions on a personal level that people should, how much utilization, the choice of the carrier depends also what type of network you have, direction. But the fundamentals we're discussing today of a higher deductible with a custodial account are the rudiments of the basics of the program. But it really needs someone to work with. And that's why working with the agent, working with a person who cares in the local community like Simsbury Bank will make the program much better for people.
All right, and for those people who might just be tuning in, we're speaking with Terry Boulton, who's the Senior Vice President at Simsbury Bank, and also Stephen Glick, who's the President and Administrator of the Chamber Insurance Trust. Stephen, when you hold these informational seminars, can you pluck out the top question or concern that people might have in making this decision?
Two areas, affordability and access, are the things that concern people today. Mm-hmm. And the good news from the state of Connecticut, besides the traditional way, come 2014, there are additional ways of gaining access to health care with some help even from the state for people of certain income levels. So access of health care and affordability are the two key elements to think about as an alternative. Plus, if someone is an independent thinker, someone that doesn't want to be an independent thinker, the HSA is not necessarily the best program for them.
And what are you hearing from your consumers?
Someone who's just getting into the HSA program, who doesn't understand how it works, is what happens with the money if I don't use it. Mm-hmm. What happens if I use it and it's not for qualified reasons? When can I have access to my fund for other reasons? And so those, and certainly with the HSA as opposed to the FSA, you can carry it.
What's your FSA?
Flexible spending account. Those were very popular.
That's like if you've got daycare or
right.
Yeah, those
right.
Those have been popular for a long time.
Right.
And a lot of people rave about them now, but this is kind of similar to that, but just intended for a different reason.
Right. Pre-tax dollars,
Right.
so that's a key thing.
And the government is actually cutting the maximum contribution into a flexible spending
Yes.
account.
Yeah.
The HSA is now a much better thing, and a flexible spending account, this is a word called use it or lose it.
Yeah.
And that will probably wane, and more people will take the maximum contributions in their custodial account through their HSA program.
And when you say use it or lose it, what, annually or?
Well, on the FSA, yes. If you didn't use your contribution by the end of the year, you lost the money. It went to a pool, and the company, you didn't get your money. With the HSA, it's your own individual account, and you get to use that, get to carry it over year after year after year. So you can keep accumulating dollars to help you with future years' deductibilities. Or many customers are saving them, using them as an additional IRA. So because their deductible on their health saving, on their high deductible plan might be $5,000, but they can put $7,250 because they're over 55 and they have a family plan. So they're using that money. They're maxing out their contributions that they can do by IRS laws to save for future retirement planning, be it for paying for their medical costs down the line when they retire early, or
What about assisted care? Can you apply it towards that?
Yes.
That's a big one, too.
By the way, you can also, one adult or husband can utilize money toward his wife if necessary. The flexibility of the money can
Toward
be
his wife's health care?
healthcare needs,
Okay.
absolutely, or children.
Or buy her jewelry. I
depending.
wasn't sure which one.
Can't do that. Well, you can, but you're going to be a penalty for that. But the idea there's flexibility in that. As I said, we'll see. As a result of the cost of health care, the state now having an access program, allowing HSAs to exist through that, we should see a growth in that marketplace. But the consumer needs to work local.
Stephen, as a former reporter, I've got to ask you, you said you sat on this board in Hartford about the future of healthcare in Connecticut. How's it look? Does it look like is it as bad as the media makes it out to be, or worse?
Well, again, there's two sides of every story. There are some really dedicated people who are now part of Access Health Connecticut that want to help build programs primarily for the working poor and the Medicaid people. However, the laws from the federal side are making it somewhat difficult and challenging, and the other side of it is the employer side, in which we in the chamber world are trying to do, is to educate the employer of what are the regulations, what things are going on. Unfortunately, a lot of employers have stopped looking or not absorbing this, and it's a whole topic in itself.
Right.
We are beginning that process, and I just came from a meeting with the whole community in Milford to share them, and there was a tremendous amount of feeling better about things, but it's going to be a challenge, and it's coming too fast.
Right. And you know, Terry, you're very involved with the chamber here in Simsbury and Rotary. What's the reaction you're getting from that community? Because it sounds like it's really a grassroots, on the ground, person-to-person contact, like you have to know about this thing.
Well, as Stephen said, the Chamber is very active in getting information out to its members. And Charity Folk, our executive director here in Simsbury, is very involved, sends out blast emails, and it's coming. And we've been saying this for a couple of years now, and she's excellent at getting information out. So I think small businesses are a little concerned that it's coming quicker than what they anticipated, and that there's things that might be hard for them to comply with. But I think getting out the information is the most important part, so we can all be prepared.
And I want to encourage people, if you want more information about this program or any of the great programs offered by Simsbury Bank, you can go to simsburybank.com. It doesn't get any easier than that. So, talking about HSA accounts, a new product, new to the market, new partnership between Simsbury Bank and you folks. And I'm curious as to what the initial reaction is, one, and it sounds like this is a program that really puts you, the person, the individual, in the driver's seat when it comes to decision making in healthcare. And isn't that what we all kind of want?
And exactly right what you're saying. It's not total decision. I mean, the sense of liability only is for a small amount, if someone. But the idea of making choices of where to go, what doctors you wish to see, prescription drug cost. You know, there are differences of pricing just on prescriptions alone. You can go to 3 different pharmaceutical groups and you'll find a different pricing. As a consumer now, it's your dollars that you're using, and you could find the best pricing and the best results for the same drug.
But you bring up a really good point, and that's accessibility. I know with some programs, and I'm going to use my daughter as an example, to find a provider in that network was nearly impossible. Hours on the phone calling, no, we don't take that, no, we don't take that. So is this that kind of a situation, or what's the network look like?
Well, again, it depends upon the carrier. We do a lot of work with carriers that have the opportunity to work within their network, but also outside of their network. But the funds from the HSA can be used in either for either part of the program. Some companies offer programs only in network, and that could be dangerous, in my own opinion, to work with a company that doesn't have a broader reach across the country. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to go to any doctor, any hospital of your choice, especially when a serious illness takes place.
Mm-hmm. And catastrophic costs, so that's also covered in the HSA, Terry?
Yes, it is. I mean, all medical insurance and medical costs are covered out of the HSA. The catastrophic cost would be part of your insurance coverage. Mm-hmm. So on a high deductible plan, you're liable only up to a certain amount, up to your deductible, $3,000, $5,000, whatever your deductible is. And then and that's what you use your HSA dollars for. So to make sure people understand how the HSA works with a high deductible plan, you pay insurance premiums, usually on a high deductible plan. They're a lot smaller than a regular copay plan. And then you have a deductible. So the insurance company says you are responsible for your cost up until you meet that deductible.
Right.
And that money you hopefully are using your HSA dollars to pay for. So if you have a deductible of $5,000,
you can take that out of your HSA account.
You want to make sure you're depositing $5,000 for that potential liability of your insurance, of your medical costs. Mm-hmm. And after you've reached that $5,000 worth of medical expenses, whether or not you've paid it through your HSA or how you've paid for it, then your insurance plan starts paying their portion. That's the shared cost.
Let me share something very, very important for January 1st of 2014. all plans are going to add additional benefits. Many people buy individual products. Some people buy group products. Individual products, example, does not offer maternity benefit in most of the carriers. This is going to be an essential benefit. So someone now can use their HSA account in an individual product to go for maternity, and that's an important element. Also, even wellness for dental will be covered for children. So children now, through their HSA account, will be able to utilize their account to pay for wellness of dental coverage. A lot of new things happening on the design of health plans to meet the...
So it's not all bad.
Not all bad. We just have to see how the pricing hits everyone. But that will mean the HSA might be another alternative, because that reaches the less pricing, as you mentioned earlier, of the plan design. So Affordability Care Act will have some, again, education is crucial on understanding your alternatives more than ever, and people should start now working with their consultant or agent to support that information for January 1st, 2014.
And as you mentioned, both of you, go to these informational seminars. It's not a sales pitch. It's just, the more information, the better educated decision you're going to be able to make.
Yeah.
And this stuff is complicated. Some of us, I think I'll admit for myself, it just, you don't even want to think about it. But you have to think about it. You have to pay attention, and you have to make the best decisions for only your health, but perhaps for your family's health as well, correct?
Right. And the best way to do that is stay local.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Well, thank you both very much. This was very informative. I'm sure people are going to have more questions and want to take you up on your opportunities. So to find out more about HSAs and this high-quality, affordable option in healthcare, you can call Simsbury Bank at 658-2265, or they've got plenty of information on their website at simsburybank.com. I want to thank you again, Terry and Stephen, for being on the program today. I'm Ann Baldwin, and I want to thank all of you for watching.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.